Nikola Tesla. You hear that name and what comes to mind? Genius, right? Mystery, maybe even a little bit of madness. But beyond the legend, who was the man who actually lit up our world and dreamed of a future we're, still trying to build? Let's get into the real story.
I mean, just look at this quote from a Reddit science forum. It really captures the modern legend of Tesla perfectly. It's not just awe, there's a little bit of fear in there, isn't there? The idea that his genius was just so powerful, it could have gone either way for us.
And of course, the internet has taken that legend and just completely run with it. I mean, look at these descriptions we use today. Electric Jesus, a Time Lord, and my personal favorite, the man who shat bats that spit razors. It's bizarre and it's hilarious, but it tells you something really important. We see his genius as something so far beyond our own that it feels, well, almost supernatural.
So yeah, these epic nicknames are amazing, but they kind of risk hiding the real person, you know? So let's try to strip away the myth for a second and ask, who was the actual man behind all these legends? All right, so to find the real Tesla, we've got to go back to the beginning. He was born in 1856, but his whole life really just ignites in 1882, when the idea for the rotating magnetic field just hits him, like a literal flash of inspiration. 2 years later, he's in America, with a letter of recommendation for Thomas Edison, which, as you can imagine, sets the stage for one of the greatest rivalries in scientific history. And just a few years after that, he's got his own company, ready to take on the world. And this is where the story really takes off, because that decision to go it alone leads directly to what we call the War of Currents, a massive, high-stakes fight that would literally decide how we power our planet.
Okay, so the fight basically came down to this. You had Edison's system, direct current, or DC. It was the one everyone was using. But it was super inefficient. You literally needed a power station on like every other block. Tesla's idea, alternating current, or AC, was a total game changer. It could send high-voltage electricity over huge distances. This made it possible to power whole cities from just one source. It wasn't just a better system. It was a vision for a completely connected, electrified future.
And, Tesla himself had this perfect kind of savage way of describing their different approaches. He said Edison would search for a needle in a haystack by examining every single straw one by one. But Tesla knew a little bit of theory could have saved him 90% of the work. It's such a perfect burn, right? It just sums it all up. Edison was this brilliant, hands-on tinkerer, sure, but Tesla was a visionary.
And look, here's the proof in the pudding, right? His 1888 patent for the electromagnetic motor. This isn't just some abstract idea. What you're looking at right here is literally the blueprint for our modern world. This is the heart of the AC system, the engine that was about to power a revolution. And oh, boy, did he win. The big showdown was at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Tesla and his partner George Westinghouse, they won the contract to light up the whole fair. So picture this. President Grover Cleveland flips a switch, and suddenly the entire fairgrounds, this white city, is bathed in this incredible bright light. It just left everyone speechless. And just like that, the War of Currents was over.
So with that huge win under his belt, he moved on to his most insane project yet, literally taming Niagara Falls. The scale of this was just unheard of. He designed these gigantic AC generators that could harness one of the most powerful forces in nature and turn it into clean energy for cities hundreds of miles away. I mean, this wasn't just engineering. This was engineering on a mythic scale. And just in case there was any doubt about whose genius was behind this whole thing, take a look at this. This is a nameplate from the plant itself. Of the 13 key patents that made the project possible, 9 of them belong to Nikola Tesla. His genius was literally bolted onto the machines that were about to power America. Incredible.
But you think he'd stop there? No way. Tesla was just getting started. Now that he'd wired up the world, he started dreaming of a world with no wires at all. And that brings us to his most famous, most ambitious, and, well, most tragic project, the Tower of Dreams.
Okay, you have to hear this. This is a quote from him in the early 1900s. Just listen. Are you kidding me? He's describing a smartphone. He's describing the internet, our entire connected world. And he's doing it 100 years before any of it actually exists. It's just mind-blowing.
And this was supposed to be the machine to make it all happen, the Warden Cliff Tower. And the plan for it was so much bigger than just sending messages. We're not just talking about wireless communication. We're talking about wireless power, beaming electricity right through the air, totally free for anyone to just grab. Can you even imagine? It's a vision that would have completely changed everything, right? Clean, limitless energy for the entire planet. So you have to ask, what in the world happened? Why aren't we living in that future? Well, the dream came crashing down for one simple, frustrating reason: money. His backer, the famous financier JP Morgan, thought he was investing in wireless telegraphy, something he could sell. But when Morgan found out that Tesla's real goal, his big goal, was to give that power away for free, well, he didn't see a humanitarian vision. He saw a threat to his entire industry. I mean, you can't put a meter on free energy, right? So Morgan pulled the plug, and just like that, the dream of a wireless world was over. And that failure, that collapsed dream, is really at the heart of the Tesla myth we have today. It's what takes him from man to myth. And here's the real tragic irony of it all. Tesla died in 1943, totally broke, all alone in a hotel room in New York. And yet his ideas are literally all around us. Radio, remote controls, robotics, all of our wireless tech. The very fabric of our modern world was woven by a man who died with basically nothing to his name. And that right there, that gets to the absolute core of what we call the Tesla mystique. It isn't just about what he did. It's about what he almost did. It's that massive, haunting what if that sits right in the middle of his story. That's what turns him from a brilliant inventor into a legendary, almost mythical figure. And this photo, man, this photo says it all, doesn't it? You've got this guy sitting calmly in the middle of a man-made lightning storm. He was a genius who could literally command the forces of nature, but he couldn't command the men who held the purse strings. He mastered the laws of physics, but he never quite figured out the laws of economics. But, in the end, maybe Tesla himself said it best. The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine. And today, as we live in this world that he dreamed up, a world that's still trying to catch up to his biggest ideas, you just have to wonder, maybe he was right all along.